Right, hour two, Sean Hannity Show, toll free. It's 800-941-SEAN if you want to be a part of the program. Anyway, Byron Donalds from Florida is here with us. How are you, sir?
Doing good, Sean. Thanks for having me on. When I ran for Congress, I told my voters that I was going to make sure we were taking the message of conservatism everywhere, because that's what we're going to need to do if we're going to win the day. So that's the job I'm in. That's what I want to do. I know people talk about other things coming up, but we'll see what happens when it gets there. Right now, I'm just doing my job, trying to make sure that at least in the House, we're holding the line, that we're putting out strong conservative policy, which is what House Republicans have been doing under the leadership of Kevin McCarthy. And we're just going to go get the job done. What happens in the future, I'll leave that to the future.
Well, you passed this border bill, which was not easy to pass. You passed the no stock trading bill, which I liked a lot. I thought that was very smart. But more importantly, you passed a bill to raise the debt ceiling. And it simply will send spending back to 2022 levels, which is very reasonable in my view. We've got, just a couple of weeks away now, 18, 19 days away from this debt ceiling default date that Janet Yellen has given us of June 1. And I guess I don't know why Joe Biden stayed away from Kevin McCarthy for 97 days, but he did. Kevin was begging to meet with him on pretty much on a daily basis. He said no. So I don't know what the White House is thinking, because I don't believe with the small majority that you have in the House that Kevin McCarthy is going to be able to go back to the Republicans in the House and say, we're going to offer these changes that the Democrats want. Are you all going to sign on to it? I don't think he's going to get a majority to do that. Do you?
No, I don't. And I don't think that at all. And I think the key thing in what you said is our proposal is actually a modest proposal. We think that just going back to pre-COVID spending levels makes sense. And so that 22 spending cap that you talk about, I'm going to get a little into the weeds for the listeners. What it really does, it keeps defense at the 23 level with a little bit of a kicker for defense, because looking at what's going on around the globe, our military has to be ready. But it also pushes all the agency stuff back to 2019. And the reason you do that is because back in 2019, it's not like we were pikers out here. We were still spending money, but not the crazy plus ups that Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi did with these agencies. So you got to get that back. It helps us get to a sustainable playing field long term. So we view it as a modest proposal, and you were able to get House Republicans on board with doing this in order to say we're going to raise the debt ceiling and then find further ways to continue to get the nation's fiscal house in order. While we were doing this for 97 days, like 100 days now, working together.
And by the way, I talked to a lot of people during that time. This was a heavy, heavy lift to get all you guys on the same page.
Yes, it was a heavy lift. While we're doing that, Joe Biden I don't know what he was doing, taking a nap, eating ice cream. I don't know what this guy was doing. The Senate, and let me real quick, Chuck Schumer, those guys were doing nothing over in the Senate. So they need to get to work. They need to come up with a plan and a strategy that, frankly, Sean, they can pass the Senate. Because I'll tell you this, as much as Joe Biden said he wants a clean debt ceiling, there are no votes in the Senate. They don't have the votes in the Senate for a clean debt ceiling. So I think the next step is the Senate needs to pass a plan. And then we sit down and talk over what we can agree to.
But the Senate's not going to be able to pass a plan because you got 44 Republican senators, I think maybe one Democrat, Joe Manchin, that are saying they support the House bill.
Well, I mean, John Test.
At that point, the default then lies with Joe Biden. That's all I have to say. And he shouldn't have sat on his ass for 97 days and did nothing.
Totally agree. And to that last point, Joe Biden could have passed the debt ceiling in the omnibus bill last Christmas Eve. He could have done that when Nancy Pelosi was still Speaker. They didn't want to. They wanted to set up a political fight. They wanted to put our treasury markets in a lurch and in chaos. Joe Biden wanted to create a crisis around this. Surprise.
Well, be careful what you wish for because things are bad enough. This will only accelerate the coming recession that he caused. I do wish I had more time. Congressman Byron Donalds, Florida, we love having you. Thank you, sir. You were great this week. God bless you for going into over to fake news CNN. It was the only time I heard common sense in a while there. So thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
800-941-SEAN. Our number if you want to be a part of the program this Friday.